Good evening from Memorial Field. Again, we're back here for Fundy Community Television. We're bringing you game number 4 of the New Brunswick Senior Baseball Championship round. The umpires are moving towards home plate and getting ready to go over the ground rules with the two managers. This is a big, important game for the Alpines. If they lose, they are out. My analyst tonight will be the voice of CFBC Sports, Aaron Kennedy. Aaron is just jotting some lineups there, getting ready for the official score duty. Also, he'll be the official scorer for the game, plus analyzing the telecast here. So the umps tonight, of course, will be the experienced and the veteran Fran McHugh, who just came back from the World Junior Baseball Tournament held up in Moncton, did a fine job. And on first base is the rookie Andrew Higgins, an up-and-coming official who had some training down in Florida, and seems to be doing quite well. And the second base umpire will be Stephen Hashey, and the third base umpire is Lee Hamilton. So experienced officials for this very important fourth game here tonight between the Alpines and Fredericton. So Aaron is with us now, just jumping in there on board. And Aaron, a big game here for the Alpines.
Well, there's no question about that, Dave. You can bring out all those cliches, your back's against the wall, behind the 8-ball, do or die, it's now or never, there's no tomorrow. They all apply for the St. John Alpines tonight, down 3-0 in the series to the Fredericton Brooks Pub Moosehead Royals. But the Alpines are a scrappy bunch, never say die. Mike Skid was quoted in the media the other day saying, I can't remember the last time the Fredericton team lost 4 consecutive games. Well, I can remember when that was, and it was last year in this final series when the Fredericton Royals won the opening game of the final, and then the Alpines reeled off 4 consecutive victories. So the Alpines are going to have to win 4 in a row. No time like a 4-game winning streak in the first week of September, but that's what St. John needs to do if they look to repeat as provincial champs.
Thank you for those comments. You really summed it up well, Aaron. And so all the marbles are on the table tonight for the Alpines. It's do or die, and they're going with their veteran pitcher, Kevin Martin, who lost a tough 3-1 loss to the arch opponent tonight, Steve McCarty. So it's the beginning of the 2 starters tonight, and Martin said he's going to give everything he has tonight. And I just looked at the statistics, Aaron, excuse me, by the guy, what's his name from the...
Bruce Hallahan.
Bruce Hallahan, sorry, Bruce. Batting 176 for the series, the Alpines are, and the Fredericton 253, which isn't over strong either, but it certainly has been a pitching series, Aaron.
Yeah, and the Royals have gotten the big long balls, as Mike Skid had predicted before the series. They're a team that takes advantage of the 2 or 3 run home run, and Fredericton has gotten those. And of course, St. John just hasn't received the timely hits at all through the first 3 games of this series. And if St. John doesn't get any timely hits tonight, this series is going to be over. But I think the key tonight for the Alpines is for Kevin Martin to get off to a good start here in the top of the first inning. Can't allow any Royals to score. If St. John gets in a hole early, it could be a long night and an abrupt end to this series. But the key is for St. John to shut the Royals down early on, try and get a lead, and look to gain some momentum and pick up obviously the much-needed win.
Okay, thank you for those comments. Aaron Kennedy has been following this series on a regular basis. Tremendous support from his radio stations on the coverage here. And a word of interest, the St. John Angels lost 9-7 in the championship for the Atlantic, or the East Atlantic Midget A Championship to Newfoundland by a close score of 9-7. So a good effort by the Angels, but a little short, but winning the semi-final over there. Second runner-up wasn't too bad, but I guess Newfoundland will be going on now to the Deer. I think it's somewhere in Winnipeg next year. But Billy James and Bob Galbraith did a fine job with that young Angel team, and just came a little short, but a good showing there by the St. John team, Aaron.
Yeah, and the key to the Angels, as you mentioned, Dave, is that they are a young team, and they'll be back to defend their provincial championship next year. And they had a tough go today, being Labor Day. The second day of that series in Newfoundland was rained out, so everything got pushed back a day. Newfoundland had advanced to the championship game by way of a tie-breaking run formula. So the Angels were forced to play twice today, beating Nova Scotia in the semi and then losing, as you mentioned, in the championship game. But certainly a pretty impressive performance by that young Angel squad. You can be sure they'll be back next year.
That's for sure. Okay, we're about to start this game here. Fran McHugh is giving instructions to Kevin Martin on the hill, and Greg Arnold, number 17, steps in to start off this 4th game. Martin on the hill, and here's the first pitch of the game here to catcher Colin Ring, and it's a fastball in there for 1 ball. On the outside corner, you call it a ball, I guess, so ball 1.
Greg Arnold and Steve McCarty rotate who leads off for the Royals. If McCarty is pitching as he is tonight, Arnold will be the number 1 hitter.
Here's the second pitch, and it's swung and fouled.
Arnold playing third base tonight. He'll be followed by Derek Wilson, the shortstop, batting in the 2-hole, and Rod Wilson Jr., the first baseman and league MVP, bats third for Fredericton.
1 ball, 1 strike on Greg Arnold, third baseman here. Here's the pitch by Kevin Martin. Just outside. 2 balls and 1 strike, an off-speed pitch by Martin.
Arnold suggesting that he might be interested in trying to bunt himself aboard here early in this game, and the Royals would certainly like to get off to that quick start, as I mentioned off the top. Imperative for St. John to shut them down here in the top of the first.
Here's the pitch, and it's fouled away, so that evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. The veteran Fran McHugh calling the balls and strikes tonight. Andrew Higgins at first, Stephen Hashies at second, and Lee Hamilton is calling the plays at third base. 2 balls, 2 strikes on the leadoff hitter, Greg Arnold. Kevin Martin looking in, staring in for a signal. Here's the windup and the pitch. Down in the dirt, and gets away from Ring, and nobody on base, so the count is now run, 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Greg Arnold will certainly be looking to protect the plate
I
here.
heard Liz was gay.
Anything near
No,
the
I
strike
didn't
zone,
hear
he'll be
that.
looking to swing.
Didn't hear that?
Oh.
Full count to the leadoff hitter here in the top of the first. No score, just underway at Memorial Field, Deborah Road West. Here's the pitch. Oh, just down low.
Greg Arnold with a very good eye at the plate. That was a tough pitch to take, but he did indeed take it, and he winds up with the base on balls. So Arnold is aboard, and the old adage about those leadoff walks, they can come around to hurt you. And now we'll see what Rod Wilson Sr. has up his sleeve here. Wilson has a couple of home runs in this series, but last week I was surprised when he bunted. Tonight I won't be, as the Royals try to get an early lead.
Here's the pitch.
And
There's
he's
a line
away.
drive hit into the left field. A solid single by Derek Wilson. Going after that first pitch, a solid line drive single.
Well, this is why I concentrate on hockey and not baseball, Dave, because last week I thought that Wilson would come up and swing away, and Rod Wilson Sr., his father, had him bunt. So tonight I thought, look, you're in a situation where you can win this series tonight and wrap up the championship. Try and bunt Arnold to second and get the early 1-0 lead, but instead he lets his son Derek swing away, and he gets a solid base hit to left, and it's first and second, nobody out for the league's most valuable player, Rod Wilson Jr.
I don't think he'll be bunting. Here's the pitch. Up high and away, ball 1.
No, even I know that he won't be bunting.
Haven't seen Rod bunt ever that I can remember. Ever. 1 ball, no strikes. Fredericton threatening already here in the top of the first inning. Nobody out. Arnold takes his lead at second, Wilson at first. Here's the pitch. Here's a hard ground ball hit down to Wong. Flips to King for Wong on to first. Safe. He beat it out.
The catcher number 2.
Ball wasn't quite hit sharply enough to Tony Wong at second base, and seemed to have a little trouble getting the toss across there to the shortstop, Mike King. And King's throw was just a little bit late to get Rod Wilson Jr. at first, so the Wilson Jr. is safe on the fielder's choice, and that brings the cleanup man, the catcher, John Lindsay, to the plate with 1 out and runners at the corners.
John Lindsay, another tough hitter. Here's the pause and the pitch. Here it is. Curveball in there, strike 1. A good sharp breaking pitch to start off with Lindsay.
Dangerous hitter, as you mentioned. He could make it 3-0 in a hurry. Martin has to be very careful with Lindsay.
Playing back for 2. Here's the pitch. Good save by Ring, and the ball was in the dirt. Outside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Important for Colin Ring, the catcher, to get his body out there to block that ball, not allowing it to go to the backstop and allowing the first run to score. He didn't just try to reach for it with the glove. He got right out there and kept it in front of him.
Here's the 1-1 pitch. Fouled away down by the Alpine dugout. 1 ball and 2 strikes to John Lindsay, number 2. Plays in the number 2 spot, the catching spot. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Runners on the corner. Greg Arnold on third. Rod Wilson Jr. on first. 1 out here in the top of the first. Still no score. Game number 4. Here's the pause. And here's the pitch by Martin. Off-speed pitch outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes to John Lindsay.
Rod Wilson Jr. not a threat to steal from first. Martin not paying much attention to him, concentrating on the hitter.
Here's the pitch. Here's a hurt ball. Foul ball. Hit hard by Lindsay. Down and rattling around the corner, but it's foul all the way. Count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes to John Lindsay.
Just foul was that ball. A bullet drive down the first baseline. That would have been major trouble had it landed fair.
That's for sure. Kevin wants the new ball. Getting it from Steve Hashey. The second base umpire had an extra ball. So 2 balls, 2 strikes to catcher John Lindsay. The runners at the corners take their lead. Here's the pause. Here comes the pitch. Here's a pop-up.
It's out of play, Dave.
It's going to be out of play. Timmy Wilson over, and it bounces into the crowd down along the third baseline.
Well, both Kevin Martin and John Lindsay sensing the importance of this at-bat very early in this ball game. Lindsay is a power hitter, the cleanup man for the Royals, with runners at first and third, and nobody out.
Your underwear's hanging
The
out.
at-bat for both sides.
Here's the pause. Now here comes the pitch. Here it is. There's a ground ball hit to Tony Wong. Throws a second for 1. On the first. Safe.
And again, Wong and King can't turn the double play. That seemed to be a good double play ball with Lindsay, the catcher, not the most agile runner. But again, they're unable to turn the 2. And the Royals get the run across on the fielder's choice. It's an RBI for John Lindsay. Wilson Jr. is forced at second.
1-0 here in the top of the first. And now here comes number 22, the left fielder, Andrew Lockhart. Hit a home run in the second game here in St. John. Good breaking pitch. Ball went outside.
As soon as that ball was hit on the ground, someone in the Alpines infield yelled, "Turn it," but the Alpines were unable to, it being the double play.
Here's the pitch. Swing on that breaking pitch. 1 ball, a little off speed on that pitch by Kevin Martin, the right-hander. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Andrew Lockhart, the rookie, hit a towering home run here in Game 2 of this series and made a great play in the 7th inning at diving catch and left.
Here's the 1-1 pitch. Good sharp breaking pitch on the outside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here's the pause, and now here's the pitch. Swung. Seemed to be just protecting the plate on that pitch. It looked like on the outside part of the plate.
So that full count pitch to Greg Arnold leading off this ball game. He looked at it as for a ball. He comes around to score the first run of the game.
There it is. Strike 3. Fastball in there. Right down the heart of the plate.
That'll be the only run for the Royals here in the top of the first inning. They get just 1 base hit, but they get the run. Greg Arnold coming around to score after the leadoff walk. So Fredericton has a 1-0 lead after half an inning with the Alpines coming to bat. So St. John certainly will try to get right back on even terms here off of Steve McCarty, the lanky right-hander from the Fredericton Brooks Pub Moosehead Royals. McCarty the winner in Game 1 of this series. And of course it is a pitching rematch, Dave, with McCarty for the Royals and Kevin Martin for the Alpines. St. John is certainly hoping that it's a different outcome, though, as McCarty outdueled Martin in that first game. And again, Martin seemed to get better as that game went along, struggled in the first inning when the Royals scored all 3 of their runs. So St. John will be happy tonight if the Royals scored all their runs in the first inning.
That's correct. That was a well-pitched game on both parts, as indicated by Aaron. And McCarty came out on top in that first game. That was at home. Now he's on the road. They have beaten him a couple times down here at Memorial Field, so we're hoping, or at least the Alpines are hoping, that they can turn things around here tonight and see if they can get the bats going. They are batting a mere 176 in the series, which indicates that they are not hitting, and hopefully it won't run. Things won't run out tonight before it's too late. But not too many lineup changes, I guess, Aaron, there tonight. I guess leading off is King and McClellan and Martin and Ring. They've pretty well been intact. But again, the runners have to get on, and they got to get some key hitting, or they're not going to win any ball games.
The runners have to get on, and then you need those guys like Martin and Ring to cash those runs in, and that hasn't been happening in this series enough for St. John. But Mike King is the shortstop. He will lead off, followed by Brent McClellan, the right fielder, Kevin Martin, the pitcher, Colin Ring, the catcher, bats cleanup, Tony Wong at second base, bats 5th, Timmy Moore playing third base tonight, bats 6th, Sean Crawford, the first baseman, is the 7th place hitter, Kirby Williams, the left fielder, and Jay McGee, the center fielder, round out the St. John batting order with Martin in the lineup and batting for himself. St. John has no designated hitter. And Mike Skid confers with Mike King and Brent McClellan before King steps to the plate to lead things off for St. John. The Alpines trailing a 1-0 here in the bottom of the first.
Okay, King, who has been in a slump, as most of the Alpines have, going to see if he can. He's still most of the time has been leading off all year and has done a good job joining league play, but a little slow getting untracked here in the playoffs. But see what he can do tonight. He's leading off here again tonight against that hard-throwing right-hander Steve McCarty. Here's the windup and the pitch. Fastball up high. Ball one.
Again, the Alpines have to be patient. Can't be afraid to take that base on balls and get base runners any way possible.
Here's the pitch. Another paw. Off-speed pitch up high. 2 balls and no strikes.
So King has the upper hand on McCarty early here. 2-0 the count.
Here's the windup and the pitch. Ball 3 outside. So King has a 3-0 count on him, and certainly the take will be on here. 3 balls and no strike pitch coming up.
Now you'll find out what kind of control McCarty's going to have tonight, because this is a gimme.
Fastball in there. Strike 1 called. 3 balls and 1 strike. Following instructions in Brady Moore. Encouragement. Here's the pitch. Up high. Ball 4. So King gets the lead off. Draws the walk. Mike King.
St. John is certainly hoping, Dave, that the leadoff walk to Mike King pays dividends, as did the leadoff walk to Greg Arnold in the top of the inning.
Now here comes the scrappy Brent McClellan. He can play outfield and third base. Scrappy hitter.
And the way the Alpines have been hurting batting-wise lately, would probably make a lot of sense for McClellan to try to bunt King over to second, get the tying run 180 feet away, and that is the plan.
Foul in the bunt here as Brent McClellan tries to lay it down.
So we've got this game figured out. We were surprised to see Derek Wilson hitting away the second spot in the top of the inning, but McClellan here with the Alpines, the home team, and down by a run, shows bunt, fouls the first pitch away. John Lindsay a little bit shaken up on that.
Signs given out by Mike Skid again. McClellan and King both checking with King, looking down with to see what Mike Skid has on his mind. Sacrifice is probably still on. Beautiful night here. It's not sunny. It's overcast, but no wind. Hopefully the fog will stay away and no raindrops. Here's the pause by Steve McCarty. Here's the pitch. And it's a breaking pitch in there. Seen the break the last minute. Now King's in a hole with 2 strikes.
King was showing bunt, but he pulled the bat back, and as you mentioned, that ball with a big break on it dances in there for a strike. 0-2 to Brent McClellan. Mike King, the base runner at first. Nobody out in the bottom of the first.
Here's the pause. Now the pitch. Here it is. Up high. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
So Lindsay setting up outside, and McClellan taking. So Mike Skid doesn't want him to bunt with 2 strikes. Of course, if you foul a bunt off with 2 strikes, you're out.
King getting a half-decent lead. Here's the pitch. Bounces away, and King's going to get up on that wild pitch. It bounced in front of the plate. So King is now in scoring position.
Well, that's a tremendous break for St. John. Brent McClellan was trying to sacrifice himself to get King to second base. He fouled off the first pitch, then a called strike on the second pitch, and then McCarty bounces one about 5 feet in front of home plate. It hits the backstop, and King is at second base, and McClellan is still at the dish with nobody out.
Okay, now it's 2 balls and 2 strikes to Brent McClellan. Here's the pause by McCarty. King with the lead. Here's the pitch. Breaking pitch outside, so runs the count to 3 balls and 2 strikes to the right fielder, Brent McClellan. Fran McHugh hollering out the count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. We don't have a electric scoreboard here, so the umpires have to be on their toes to let them know what's happening out. Here's the pitch. Up high, ball 4.
Back-to-back walks here in the bottom of the first for St. John. They're in business. Kevin Martin pitching tonight for St. John. It's a glorious opportunity for him to help his own cause here as he steps to the plate first and second with nobody out.
And I don't think you'll see Kevin bunting him. Never bunted before in his
No,
life.
you get to the third spot in the order. He's the man that has to be driving in some runs here.
So here's the first pitch coming up to Kevin Martin. There's a sharp breaking pitch in there for strike one call by Steve McCarty. Bit of a jam here. Looking in. Here's the pitch. Breaking pitch down low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Start seeing Kevin off with 2 breaking pitches. 2 quick, pretty good speed on the bases with King and McClellan. Both can run. Here's the pitch. Swing on the fastball. And he guns it back to the mound. Thought there was going to be a play at second.
Well, everybody did except for Steve McCarty. He decided to negate that. Derek Wilson was standing at second base, and King was leaning there. That would have been a close play at second had McCarty not intercepted that pass.
Here's the 1-2 pitch coming up. Breaking pitch swung on and missed. So a big strikeout for McCarty. And Kevin disgustedly throws the bat down. And 1 out. So that was a big strikeout on a sharp breaking pitch.
They need Kevin Martin in that situation, and he needs to help his own cause, and he strikes out on a pitch that appeared to be out of the strike zone. So now it's up to Colin Ring, first and second, still 1 out for the cleanup hitter.
Here's the pause, now the pitch. Breaking pitch up high. Ball 1.
Ring led the league in batting during the regular season. To get a base hit here to even this game up.
Playing back for 2. The lead. Here's the pitch. Breaking pitch in there. Good sharp breaking pitch on the outside part of the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike to Ring. 1 out. King on second, McClellan on first.
I think that pitch was on the outside of the plate if the plate were 19 inches wide, but it's not.
Here's the pitch. Another good pitch in there. A sharp fastball on the outside part of the plate. So Ring's in a hole. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, they're getting those outside pitches early on here from Fran McHugh. Last week, the Royals were complaining that Mike Speedy Farah was shrinking the strike zone. McHugh has a wide one here early.
Here's the pitch. Little number hit down by third base. They're going to let it go foul.
Good heads-up play by Steve McCarty for sure. That was major trouble for the Royals had that ball stayed fair, but as soon as it ducked foul, McCarty scoops it up.
Tony Wong is on deck. So King in a hole, or Ring in a hole. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 1 out here. King's on second, McClellan on first. 1-0 lead here in the bottom of the first inning. Fredericton scored in the top of their first, and St. John are threatening but haven't scored yet. Martin down swinging, and King Ring's in a hole here with 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch by McCarty. And where is it? All the way.
That should
and
be
it
out
may
of
be
play.
caught, going over. Got a shot, and it bounces foul. Out of play, so he's got new life. That ball stayed in play. Yeah.
Looked initially that it was going to go out of play, and Greg Arnold actually misread it and overran it. And then someone yelled back up at the last second, and as he tried to move back in front of the St. John dugout, the ball bounced in between he and Derek Wilson. Of course, the Alpines aren't going to help out with any sort of instructions over there or helping Arnold navigate under that foul ball.
So it still remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. Ring fall back the last 2 pitches. He's in a hole. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out here. McCarty looking into John Lindsay for the signal.
But he gets new life here, does Colin Ring. He probably, by rights, should have been out on that play.
Here's the pitch. Another foul ball nubbed at the plate. So Ring is holding tough. Hanging in there by a thread. 1 ball, 2 strikes. King had a big jump at second base. McClellan had a good lead at first. Fredericton looking for a strikeout or a double play ball here. Alpine's looking for a clutch hit. They're down 1-0. Here's the pause. Now here comes the pitch. Here it is. Up high. So it's 2 balls and 2 strikes now. The high hard one there. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Runners on first and second, King and McClellan. McCarty takes the pause. And here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss on the breaking pitch, and Ring goes down swinging on the sharp breaking pitch. So McCarty gets 2 big strikeouts here.
Well, that's been the story of this series for the St. John Alpines. The clutch hits just haven't been there, and really, to be perfectly honest, the hits haven't been there all told. Runners at first and second on back-to-back walks, setting the table for Martin and Ring. Neither one can deliver. They both go down swinging.
It's up to the veteran Tony Wong to see what he can do. Here's the pitch. Strike on another sharp breaking pitch. McCarty bearing down here with those. When those first two runners get on, he's been sharp and getting the third and fourth batters out here on swinging strikes. Now he's ahead of Wong. One strike. Here it is. Swing and a foul. So Tony's in. He's got 2 strikes in his favor. Steve McCarty. He's pitching well in the playoffs. Getting some key strikeouts when he needs them.
Well, he certainly found his control, Dave, after the back-to-back walks, then back-to-back strikeouts.
Now it's up to Tony Wong. 2 strikes on Wong. Here's the pitch. There's a play at second base, and he let that one go through this time. Lindsay with 2 out. 1 ball, 2 strikes on the veteran second baseman Tony Wong for the St. John Alpines. Steve McCarty, 2 on and 2 out. Mike Skid trying to get this team going on offense. Here's the pause. Now the pitch. Swing and a foul. Tony's hanging tough. Still 2 strikes. Trying to get that tying run in with a base hit. Not a bad crowd here. Not as bad, as good as the last time, but people are still coming in. Here's the pause. And the pitch. Swing and a miss, and Tony Wong goes down swinging. So he struck out the side. What a splendid pitching performance by Steve McCarty.
Well, again, missed opportunity for the Alpines, and certainly an inauspicious start for them batting-wise here in the bottom of the first. The back-to-back walks, and then 3 consecutive strikeouts. So alphabet soup there for the Alpines in the bottom of the first. BB, and then KKK. So if the Alpines can't take advantage of the early walks, and again, Martin Ring and Tony Wong simply do not produce. The Alpines have got to have those guys taking advantage of those opportunities. So it remains 1-0 Fredericton after 1.
Good evening. My name's Terry Hunter. I'm president of the St. John Alpine Senior Baseball Team, and I'm pleased to have with me here tonight Mr. Phil Bourgeois of Moncton, the president of the TNR Sports New Brunswick Senior Baseball League. Welcome to St. John tonight, Phil, for Game 4 of the final between Fredericton and St. John. We hope there will be a Game 5 and a Game 6.
Yes, I'd like to see a Game 7 as well, right down to the wire like it has been the last couple of years. You know, it's rather amazing that the 2 teams that have been opposed and not used imports end up in the finals for the last 2 or 3 years.
Yes, that's right. It's ironic, isn't it? But 2 good ball teams here. It's been a real close series so far, and yes, if St. John is to win, it'll have to go 7 games, won't it? Phil, any general observations on the 1997 season with the Senior League? There didn't seem to be a whole bunch of controversy, and things seem to go along fairly smoothly.
The league went very smooth. In fact, up to tonight's game, we've had no ejections from any games, which always end up with a fine. And for that reason, our finances in the league is very low this year.
Well, that's I guess that's good. That's an easy problem to solve, and certainly from my observation, things went very smoothly with the league this year. Everybody seemed to cooperate very well, and not to say that we haven't in the past, but the controversy seemed to be kept to a minimum. What are the... we just about got that one in the ear there, Phil. We got to keep our eye on the ball, as they say. The annual league meeting will be coming up presumably in another 6 to 8 weeks. Anything expected to be on the agenda for that one that people might be interested in hearing some advance news of?
Well, we will be having an application from Charlottetown Summerside, PEI, to enter our league. They talked to us last year and weren't quite prepared, but from what I understand they are. And I've heard just recently that the North Shore is amalgamating an intermediate team and a junior team to produce a senior team.
The PEI had a very competitive entry this year. The nucleus of a 98 team for them would no doubt be their Canada Games team from this year. And I know certainly from having seen them play here in St. John in May, they had a very strong team. And I understand one of their pitchers, Niall Hughes, is in the Dodgers organization, and he certainly was an impressive performer down here.
Yeah, what they plan to do is actually take that team, the nucleus, as you say, and maybe add 1 or 2 intermediate pitchers from over there to give them a little depth in their pitching for the entire season.
Well, I would certainly would welcome the addition of a new team or teams in the league, just to give the fans a chance to see some new faces and get some new communities involved. And where we're presumably going ahead with no imports, it perhaps makes it more attractive financially, particularly for some of the smaller communities to become involved.
You mentioned a controversial item for the annual meeting. I'm sure that'll be on the agenda.
It always is. Phil, you've been a long-serving volunteer in baseball in New Brunswick. You're a past you are the immediate past president of baseball in New Brunswick, and you have served, what, 3 terms now as league president?
This is my 3rd term, yes.
And you've been involved in baseball and I guess hockey for a long time?
Baseball about 30 years. Hockey, I went through that system, was the junior director for the province until they eliminated that position. And that would be back 10 years ago, I guess. I was involved in hockey for about 20 years.
Well, that's certainly a long record, and a lot of the volunteers appreciate your years of service. Very successful junior tournament, World Junior Tournament in Moncton just recently. I presume you took in a few of those games?
Yes, I was there most of the time. Excellent ball games, some of them excellent. Unfortunately, the Canada-U.S. bronze game per se was rained out, but anyway, the gold game was a good game. There were some excellent games there.
Excellent games, good crowds, and well organized up there. And of course, Fundy Cable was front and center in broadcasting a lot of those games. I know I caught a couple of them on TV down here, and former senior player Ralph Chambers was the color man one night, and certainly made us quite aware of his opinion on a couple of the umpiring calls.
Ralph used to be an umpire. He resigned from the umpiring. I don't know. I won't tell you the reason.
Anyway, thanks very much, Phil, for your time. We look forward to a good game tonight, and thanks for your comments on the 1997 TNR Sports New Brunswick Senior Baseball League.
So Kevin Martin takes to the hill here in the top of the 2nd inning for St. John. He gave up that 1 run, thanks in large part to the leadoff walk in the top of the 1st inning.
Great effort by Steve McCarty to pitch out of those, with those 2 runners getting aboard, King and McClellan, and the same old story. They couldn't move them along. So anyway, it's the top of the 2nd inning, and Martin was going to try to hold them and go from there. What do we got coming up here?
Ryan West leads it off here for the Royals in the top of the 2nd. He'll be followed by Brady Moore and Steve Hicks.
Foul outside. Here's the pitch. Off ball 2. Kevin's just got to keep his composure. It's only a 1-0 game. He knows that they didn't come through in the 1st inning, but they're still in it. Here's the pitch. Down low. So it's 3-0 to the leadoff batter, Brian West. That's what happened in that 1st inning when that Greg Arnold got on for a walk. He ended up scoring. Here's the pitch. Ball 4. Kevin walked them on 4 pitches.
Kevin Martin can't keep walking Royals to lead off the innings here, or they're going to keep coming around to score. Arnold did it in the 1st, and we'll see what happens with West here in the 2nd. As Brady Moore steps to the plate, the 2nd baseman. A veteran of the senior baseball wars. His role has been reduced somewhat this season, but he came out of the bullpen in Game 3 to get the win in relief of Mike Lind. He'd love to contribute here tonight. The Royals hoping this is a celebration evening here at Memorial Field.
Here's the pause and the pitch, and the bunt is on. Kevin's going to go to 1st. Guns it over, and the sacrifice worked. Fredericton are looking for another run. Brady Moore, a beautiful sacrifice.
You have to contribute in many different ways, and that's what Moore was called upon to do in that situation. After West walked on 4 consecutive pitches, Moore bunts the 1st pitch, and West ends up at 2nd, and Moore sacrificed 1-3 the putout.
Okay, DH tonight, Steve Hicks is he's hitting for Steve McCarty. He's hitting for a good hitter, but every time McCarty pitches, it seems to always be a DH. So here's the pitch to Hicks. Good pitch in there. Strike 1 called. Kevin's got to keep ahead of the hitters. Those walks will come back to haunt you. Hicks is a good hitter out of junior ball. 1st year in the senior league. Had a good year for the Vikings. Here's the pitch. down low. And Fran's going out to talk to Kevin Martin. He doesn't want him questioning balls and strikes.
Leave that to us here in the broadcast booth.
So it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Hicks looking to drive in that run. Here's the pitch. Another ball. 2 balls and 1 strike outside.
And Martin's a little wound up here. He's going to have to just take a deep breath and try and settle himself down.
Got to keep his composure. Here's the 2-1 pitch to. Here's a high fly ball hit into right center field. Coming in is Brent McClellan, camping under it, puts it away, and no tag up by West, who does not have a lot of gifted speed, so he hung at second. So 2 out. Here's Stacey Gay, who scored the winning run in game number 3. Scored all the way from second base on a drag bunt by Steve McCarty. Great piece of base running by Stacey Gay. Yes, Rod sent him in, and he made it standing up. Here's the pause. And the pitch by Martin. Ground ball hit down to Timmy Moore. Takes a tricky hop. Timmy's got to come up and gun it over. And picked up out of the dirt by Sean Crawford. Good play by Crawford on that low throw by Timmy Moore. So no damage done here in the second inning.
Anybody who's ever played here at Memorial Field knows that you can get some strange bounces off of that dirt infield. I was talking to Brady Moore after game 2 of this series, the Fredericton second baseman, and he said, you know, a couple of times you just put your glove out and hope it hits it. And that was the situation there with Moore. He made the ice cream cone in his glove, but he corralled it, bounced it to Crawford, who made a nice scoop at first base for the out. So that leadoff walk does not haunt St. John, and it remains 1-0 after an inning and a half.
Crawford certainly has done a lot of that this year. Picked a lot of throws up out of the dirt. And Timmy had to gun it over there, and they got the speedy Stacey Gay. Okay, so we're going to go into the bottom of the second. 1-0 lead for Fredericton. Steve McCarty wanting another ball from the umpire. But he certainly did an outstanding pitching job in the first inning with those 2 runners leading off with walks and striking out the number 3, 4, and 5th batters on swinging strikes on breaking pitches. Sharp breaking curveballs.
Leading off for the Alpines in the bottom of the second inning, the third baseman, number 45, Tim Moore.
Tim Moore is going to lead off here in the bottom of the second inning.
Go, Timmy, boy. Go, Tim.
See, Phil Bourgeois is in the audience. Terry Hunter, the president of the St. John Alpines, interviewed him before the game and had a very interesting conversation. So we'll pick that up on the tape later on. And there might be some new teams coming in the league next year. So we'll take a look at that and see what it says. Anyway, see what Timmy Moore can do here on the bottom of the second inning. St. John Alpines trailing 1-0 to the Fredericton Dolan Moosehead Royals.
Crawford and Williams will follow Moore here in the bottom of the second inning. Ball 1 the count.
Here's the pitch to Timmy Moore. Ball down low. 2 balls to the third baseman pitcher Tim Moore, playing the hot corner tonight. Where's number 45? Here's the windup and the pitch by Steve McCarty. Strike, fastball in there. 2 balls and 1 strike. Crowd very quiet tonight. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Swing and a foul. Runs the count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Timmy digging in, trying to get set for this 2-2 pitch. Here it is. Breaking pitch outside. 3 balls and 2 strikes. The count has been run to total here. Down the limit to Timmy Moore. Here's the 3-2 pitch by the right-hander McCarty. Swing and a miss on the fastball.
4
consecutive strikeouts, Aaron. Yes.
All of them going down swinging as well, so they're trying to take their licks there, Dave, but just can't catch up with those pitches.
That was a fastball. The last ones they got on the 3-4-5 hitters. Martin, Ring, and Wong were breaking pitches, but this time he blew it right by Timmy on that 3-2 pitch. Now here comes Sean Crawford, where's number 24, first baseman. Here's the pitch. Just outside on the breaking pitch.
Well, McCarty is certainly on tonight, the winner in Game 1. 4 straight strikeouts.
Here's a fly, ball hit into right field, but the right fielder just straight in this. Didn't have to move, maybe a little to his right and put it away. Fly ball to right field, out number. Brian West is the right fielder, put it away, and here comes number 42, the left fielder, Kirby Williams. Looks like he used the old Cincinnati Red uniform. Cut sleeves short there. There's a fastball in there for strike 1.
Well, if there was anything positive to be had out of Crawford's fly ball, it was the first fair ball the Alpines have hit tonight.
There's a ground ball down to the first base. Nice play by, and he throws it away. And a backup, nice backup by McCarty, went flying over there. I think he's okay, but nice play by Wilson, but he threw it away. Aaron, you can score that one. I think that's a thrown error, but anyway.
Yes, I would think so, Dave. It was a great play by Wilson to move to his right and haul that one in. And then he just made a horrendous throw. And it was a good thing that Lindsay was backing up that play. Maybe Lindsay was just getting an early jump heading for the dugout there, thinking the inning was over, but he hauled that one out, keeping it from the Fredericton dugout, holding Kirby Williams to first base.
Rod Wilson Sr. out to check to see if his star right-hander, Steve McCarty's okay. He was going to be shook up a little bit there, and he wants to know if he can throw a pitch. He still walks with him right to the mound, and John Lindsay and Steve's going to take a toss here to see if Mr. McCarty's okay. A lot of dust in his glove, and he's covered with dust, but a 2-out error to reach base on the ground ball hit to Rod Wilson Jr., who threw wildly to McCarty. Looks okay out there on the mound.
It was a great play by Wilson Jr. to get to that ball, but of course he kind of got twisted around, and it was an awkward type of throw that he had to make. Being a right-handed throwing first baseman doesn't help in that situation either.
Correct. Well, here's the number 11, Jay McGee. See what he can do here to keep this mini rally alive. Curveball in there on the outside part of the plate. Strike 1 to Jay McGee.
So the Alpines have already stranded 2 base runners. They've been doing a lot of that in this series. Need to take advantage of the few opportunities they get. McGee, the number 9 hitter.
Yeah, inserted into the outfield, a good defensive player, and pitched an outstanding game and lost 3-2 in game number 3. Here's the pitch. Another sharp breaking pitch in there, strike 2 call. Now he's ahead of McGee. 2 out here, 1 on. Kirby Williams is the runner in first. 1-0 lead here for Fredericton in the bottom of the second. Here's the 2-strike pitch to McGee. Here it is. Just outside. Fastball.
Brady Moore, the vocal second baseman, thought that one was in there. Fran McHugh thought otherwise.
1-ball, 2-strike pitch. Here it is. Sidearm pitch outside. First time I've seen that come from third base a little bit there. Now it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. McCarty works quickly. Here's the pitch. Just outside, and it's run the count to 3-2. Kirby Williams beginning lead here now.
He'll be running on the pitch as well, which plays in St. John's favor here.
Here's the pitch. There goes Williams, and the pitch. Swing and a miss on the high hard one. Another strikeout for McCarty.
So the Alpines still hitless through 2 innings, and they trail 1-0.
So, another good pitch by McCarty and McGee on that high hard one. So he's got a strikeout pitch going tonight.
The Alpines would like to thank 2 more of our corporate sponsors, the fine people at the AQ on the Home Mile, home of the Timberline Tips, and also Howard Johnson, Ford Lodge.
So So both teams will start the third inning at the top of the order. Greg Arnold, Derek Wilson, and Rod Wilson for Fredericton, and then King, McClellan, and Martin for St. John. Royals leading 1-0 after that lead-off walk to start the game to Greg Arnold. He came around to score on a fielder's choice RBI to John Lindsay.
We'd like to again thank Fundy Communications for being here tonight and bringing this game to you, and under the direction of Don Ferguson. Cameras are Eric Cannon, Dave Deneen, Dave Duncan, audio Dan Marr. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here tonight, and we'll see what takes place here now on the top of the third. Greg walked on a 3-2 pitch, just borderline, and Kevin thought it was there. It was either a little bit low. Here's the windup and the pitch. Breaking pitch in there for a strike. Starts him off with a curveball.
Arnold is very selective. He's a good leadoff hitter. Can get on base any way he can.
Here's the pitch. Just inside, quite a ways inside. 1 ball, 1 strike on the fastball. We're in the top of the third. 1-0 Fredericton leads. Scored in the first inning. Here's the windup and the pitch. Ground ball hit down. Crawford up with the play, hustling to the bag, and just gets there. He had a slide. Kevin Martin was over there for the toss, but John decided to take it himself, and he had to actually slide to beat the speedy Greg Arnold.
Great play by Sean Crawford. It was a tricky hop, as I mentioned earlier. You never know what kind of a bounce you're going to get off the dirt infield here at Memorial Field, and Crawford scooped it up and realized that Martin wasn't going to get there in time, so he ran and slid in just ahead of the hard-charging Greg Arnold.
Derek Wilson, who singled sharply to the left field the last time up. And it looked like it's fouled away. Strike 1. He partially tried to check his swing and it went off the end of the bat. So strike 1 on the ball tip to Derek Wilson here.
So the first time in 3 innings that Martin has not walked the leadoff batter.
Here's the windup and the pitch. Third ball. Just outside. Kevin stares in on that one too. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1 out here with Derek Wilson hitting. Here's a hard ground ball hit foul down the third base line, rattling around down in the left field corner. Kirby Williams over to pick it up. And it gets into the foul ball territory. So he's ahead of Derek Wilson. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Hot shot pulled down the third base line by Wilson, Dave, and it wasn't foul by very much.
That would have been extra bases for sure with Wilson's speed. One out here in the top of the third. Fredericton leading 1-0. Here's the windup and the pitch by the right-hander Martin. Outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. In the dirt, scooped up by Ring and gunned back to Martin. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Derek crowds the plate. Getting set. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Derek doesn't usually go down striking out too much, but he blew it in, blew it by him this time. I think it was a fastball.
Second strikeout of the game for Kevin Martin. And with Rod Wilson Jr. coming to the plate with nobody on and 2 out, conference convened by Coach Skid.
Skid just wanted to come out and talk to Rod. He knows he's in a slump and he's due to break out anytime. He did get credited for a hit in Fredericton, which there was some thought that it was an error by Tony Wong, but the official score said it was a hit, and he was credited with his first hit of the series. So he is due to break out for sure. See what takes place here. Here's the pitch. Strike on the fastball.
He loves to watch that first pitch. Doesn't matter where it is. Rod Wilson Jr. stands there and takes a look. Now he'll settle in for the second offering from Martin.
Pitch. Breaking pitch outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Rod Wilson Jr. Very tough hitter. Here's the pitch. Just inside. Another off-speed pitch. 2 balls and 1 strike. Here's the 2-1 pitch coming up to Wilson. High pop-up. Going out into short left field. King's got a long ways to go. Kirby Williams comes in, calls him off, and puts it away. So Good play by Williams. He called King off that play, and he had a better shot at coming in instead of going back. So King was smart to back off and let Kirby put it away.
First perfect inning of the ball game, 3 up, 3 down for Kevin Martin here in the third. And as you mentioned, King was wading out, and it's a lot more difficult for the shortstop there to venture out backwards. And King wanted that ball, but Kirby Williams, moving in from left field, waved him off and hauls it in for the third out of the inning. So it remains 1-0 Fredericton through 2.5, and the top of the order for the Alpines here in the bottom of 3, King, McClellan, and Martin.
The Alpines would like to thank two more corporate sponsors, one being the Whistle Shop, the fine folks up on Main Street West here, and of course our major corporate sponsor, Goosehead Breweries.
I'd like to thank Roger Blackier and Joe Murray for doing a good job in the field again tonight. Had the mound and the home plate covered over in case it was going to rain tonight. And we know there has to be a lot of work done in this field eventually, but the boys do the best they can. And Roger Swith is in the booth watching the play on the... And when he heard Aaron Kennedy, the voice of the Flames, was here. He wanted to be here with Aaron Kennedy. Roger the Dodger. Okay, Roger. No, you can get Roger Aaron's autograph after the broadcast, Roger. Okay, we're ready to rumble here. So Roger Spray was saying, well, are we ready to rumble?
Now, we hang out, spend a lot of time together at the Lancaster Centennial during the hockey season, so
Okay, so you
don't
know-
often see you during the summer, though, Raj.
Roger got a Fundy Communications jersey, and he was quite pleased to get that last week, I guess. So you don't have it on tonight, Roger? All right. Okay, we're ready to start the play here in the bottom of the third. Mike King, who drew a walk first time up. Here's the pitch. Breaking pitch in there, strike one call. McCarty getting ahead of the hitters now. Trying to keep ahead of the hitters. Here's the windup and the pitch. Ball. Change up. Took something off that pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike.
King walked his first trip to the plate.
Here's the pitch. Oh, he brushed him back. Hard one. 2 balls and 1 strike. The veteran Fran McHugh's on the plate tonight. 2 balls and 1 strike pitch by the right-hander Steve McCarty. Here it is. Up high, ball 3. So King is being a little more patient. He doesn't like to walk, but now he's 3 balls and 1 strike, and he did get a walk in the first inning. They need base runners. Trailing 1-0 here in the bottom of the third. Here's the pitch. Outside. So King draws his second walk of the game.
So again, those leadoff walks. Been quite a few of them here in this ball game. The Alpines of Mike King has led off the first and third with a walk, and of course the Royals got the leadoff man aboard via the walk in the first and the second. 1-0 the Alpines trail. And again, you'd have to think McClellan will be looking sacrifice here.
I would think so, Aaron, and hopefully that the third, fourth, and maybe fifth guy can do something. They certainly didn't do anything in the first inning, but see if Brent can do his job, and you certainly have to get back into the game, at least get a tie here. King with a half-decent lead. Here's the pause. Now the pitch. McClellan bunts it down to third. Nice bunt. They may let it roll foul, and it may stay fair, and it's going to be an infield hit. As Greg Arnold thought that was going to spin out when there was no spin in that ball, and I don't know. He gambled there, I guess, Aaron.
Well, I don't think he really thought it was going to roll foul, Dave. I think he was hoping that it was going to roll foul, but he knew he wasn't going to be able to make a play. And as you mentioned, there was no spin. That ball just rolled on a perfect line, probably 6 or 7 inches inside the third baseline. So a bunt single for McClellan. So same as in the first inning, the Alpines first and second, nobody out. And here comes Kevin Martin, Colin Ring, and Tony Wong. They've got to cash some runs in.
See what's going to happen here. Here's the pitch. Fouled away. Martin going after that first pitch. So
Lost in the final.
see what happens second time around. And McCarty's going to bear down again.
And if you joined us late in the bottom of the first with back-to-back walks to King and McClellan, Martin, Ring, and Wong promptly struck out the 3 of them all swinging.
That's correct. Now here's the pitch. Up high. A little bit of a change that time by Steve McCarty. 1 ball, 1 strike to Kevin Martin. Looking for signals. Nothing on, but hit away, I think, by Kevin Martin. Here's the pitch. There's a little number hit in front of the plate. It's foul ball. So Kevin Martin is in a hole again with 2 strikes. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Nice play by John Lindsay, even though that was a foul ball. He snared it with his bare hand and was ready to come up gunning Martin.
He bounced out of that catcher's box in a hurry. He was coming up gunning. So 1 ball, 2 strikes to the third hitter here, Kevin Martin, number 22. Pitching tonight. See what he can do. He's in a hole again. Calls timeout this time. Wasn't quite sure. There's a few bugs flying around down there by home plate. Now he's back in. And McCarty's looking into John Lindsay for the sign. Here it is, the 1-2 pitch to Martin.
Yes, swing.
Swing, and it's foul down the third baseline. A late swing by Kevin Martin, protecting the outside part of the plate. Count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. Nobody out here in the bottom of the third. Again, the Alpines are threatening, but still not on the scoreboard. And McCarty, I think, wants another ball. Change of balls by the umpire, Fran McHugh. Looks that one over. And decides to put it in his bag. Here's the 1-2 pitch coming up. Here's the pitch. Up high and the curveball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Good speed on the base path with King and McClellan. Nobody out here in the bottom of the third. The Alpines trying to threaten here. Here's the 2-2 pitch coming up. Here it is by McCarty. Here's a ground ball, hit down to second base. Bounces up, takes a hop. Only going to be 1 play, and it's over to first base. So the runners have moved up into scoring position by Kevin Martin with 1 out on that big bounding ball hit down to Brady Moore. The only play, Aaron, was the first base.
Yeah, there was no chance to get Brent McClellan, who has pretty good wheels. And McClellan actually had to do a little dance step there on his way to second base to make sure he wasn't hit by that ball. And Brady Moore had to reach up to snare it. And as you mentioned, the only play was to throw Martin out at first. So the runners move up, second and third with 1 out for Colin Ring.
Here's Ring can do this time. Here's the pitch. Strike. Looked like it was high. Ring didn't like the call on that. Strike 1 call on the curveball. Here's the windup and the pitch. He went, swung. Yes, he did on the check swing. He couldn't get her. He went around, so it's 2 strikes on Ring with men on second and third, and only 1 out here.
If memory serves, Ring was 0-2 before striking out in the first inning.
So he's in a hole again here. No balls and 2 strikes. He was fooled in that breaking pitch.
Tried to check his swing, but McHugh didn't need any help from the first base umpire.
Nope.
He punched him.
Went around. Here's the pitch.
Congratulations.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out on the fastball. So Ring goes down swinging. Still no clutch hitting from Colin Ring tonight so far. Now it's up to Tony Wong to see what he can do.
Ring had some words, far from flattering variety, for Fran McHugh as he walks back to the St. John dugout.
Now it's up to Tony Wong to see if he can come through with a clutch hit. There it is, a base hit by Tony Wong. McClellan's going to try to score. Here he comes. It's going to be a play at home plate. Slides, and he is safe. So the clutch hit finally come through. Tony Wong going after that first pitch, ringing single into right field to put the Alpines up 2-1. A big hit for Tony Wong.
Close play at the plate. McClellan never hesitated, and Mike Skid was waving him home the whole way. Sharply hit ball to right field by Tony Wong, and the veteran second baseman comes through with a 2 RBI single here with 2 out in the third, and St. John has the lead 2-1.
Tony Wong, the veteran second baseman, going after that first pitch, a line drive into right field. Okay, here's the pitch to Timmy Moore. Swing on the high, hard one. Strike 1. So, 2-1 lead here. Timmy Moore is the hitter with 2 out. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. McCarty rearing back with the high, hard one. 2 fastballs. 2 strikes now. Timmy in a hole. Here's the 2-strike pitch coming up. Fly ball hit deep in the left center field, but the center fielder is getting under it. Gay over and he puts it away. Stacey Gay, fly ball hit into the left center field, so we'll have the summaries.
Well, the Alpines finally get a key clutch hit by Tony Wong. 2 hits in the inning, 2 runs scored, and it's 2-1 St. John after 3 complete.
So as mentioned before, the New Brunswick Bantam A champions go to the Lancaster Expos, defeating Fredericton in 2 straight 16-12, 7-3 scores. And they're going to be hosting the Atlantic Bantam A tournament here September 12th, 13th, and 14th, Memorial Field and the Barnhill Field. So we want to hopefully a good turnout for that. Coach Kevin Ferguson and Terry Ferguson and the other coaching staff would like a it'll be right in our own backyard here, so hopefully it'll be a good tournament. And
Just went right up your spine.
so we're in the top of the 4th inning with St. John leading 2-1, thanks to Tony Wan's clutch hitting, driving in McClellan and King. Here's the windup and the pitch. Ball 1
Gotta
outside.
send it back to the corner.
Martin has retired 6 in a row.
Here's the windup and the pitch. Off-speed pitch in there. Nice off-speed pitch by Kevin Martin. 1 ball and 1 strike. Here's the 1-1 pitch to John Lindsay. There's a shot hit into the left field. Going over is Kirby Williams, and that's a base hit, I guess. It dropped in front of him.
Yeah, Williams couldn't get to that one, and it bounced a few feet in front of him, so a leadoff single here for John Lindsay. So Martin had retired 6 in a row until that base hit. Just the 2nd hit of the evening for the Royals.
Okay, now we'll see if they're going to go for a tie, or do we have a hit and run play coming up? Andrew Lockhart. Moore's in for the bunt. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. He's hitting away. Strike 1.
And that will back up Timmy Moore a few steps at third base. Moves in a little bit again.
Martin, here's the pitch. Looks like he went around, and the ball gets away from Ring. It's a wild pitch in the dirt.
And he didn't swing, so 1-1 is the count.
1 ball, 1 strike. Rod Wilson giving instructions. Called his player down. Now it's probably telling him to try to hit it to the right of the infield here to advance the runner in scoring position. So it's a 1-1 count on Andrew Lockhart. Nobody out here. Threatening to tie this game. Here's a pickoff play at second base. And a quick tag by Tony Wong, but Lindsay was in there. Call made by Stephen Hashey.
Wong sneaking over from his second base position, trying to catch Lindsay napping at second base.
Here's the 1-1 pitch coming up. Here it is. And he bunts in front of the plate. Rings up with the ball. He's out. He called the runner out, and the runner's got to go back. It's dead ball. He's out of the batter's box, apparently.
Bunting a second strike. Foul, so that would go down as a strikeout, Dave, I believe.
That's correct.
Rod Wilson Sr., the veteran helmsman of the Fredericton Moosehead Royals, chats that over with home plate umpire Fran McHugh. It was the second base umpire, Stephen Hashey, who made that call, saying it was a foul ball. So it's a strikeout for Kevin Martin, his 3rd of the evening, and John Lindsay stays at second. So they didn't have Lockhart bunting with Lindsay at first, but with Lindsay at second, they try the 2-strike bunt, and it doesn't work.
Here's the pitch to West. There's a line drive hit in the left field. Lindsay was not breaking, so they're going to have to hold him at third base. Play comes into third, so Lindsay wasn't sure where that play was. He was going back to second, actually. but a line single by Brian West puts men on first and third with 1 out.
Well, a tremendous effort by Mike King. He extended himself as far as he could go, and that's why Lindsay had to be very careful at second base, thinking that perhaps King might snare that line shot. King just couldn't quite get to it. Stretched out his very young frame there, and Lindsay had to retreat somewhat, and then as he saw the ball get past the shortstop, he heads to third. So first and third, with 1 out for Brady Moore, he sacrificed his first at-bat.
Brady Moore up now to see if he can get a clutch hit here or sacrifice fly. Only 1 out. Here's the pause, down the pitch. Ball down low, breaking pitch.
Moore doesn't have overwhelming speed, so he could be a candidate for a double play ball, which would be what the Alpines are looking for.
Brady Moore up. Here's the pitch. And he's coming in. And the squeeze is on. Now they got in a rundown. And they take him out. So the squeeze didn't work. John Lindsay was coming. Brady Moore couldn't get any contact on that ball. So the play goes from 2 to 19, I guess. Wasn't it the shortstop with the put out?
Well, it was...
Started with Moore, I guess.
Yeah, I think Moore was involved there. 2-5, 2-6.
5-2-6, I believe, yes. So the suicide squeeze did not work, and the count is 1 ball, 1 strike. There's now 2 out. With West moving down to second base, he's still in scoring position. So a big out for the Alpines.
And of course, West moves, advances to second. It's not a stolen base.
Breaking pitch down, low.
But Moore tried his darndest to bunt that ball. It was chin high. He tried to get the bat in front of it, knowing that West was on his way, or rather Lindsay was on his way from third.
2 balls and 1 strike pitch coming up by Kevin Martin. Here it is. Swing and a miss on the hard one. 2 balls and 2 strikes. So the Alpines still have another out to go here. Weston still scoring position. 2 out with the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes on Brady Moore. Kevin Martin, here's the pitch coming up here. Here it is. Fouled away up into the netting. So the count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. We're in the top of the 4th here with St. John's clinging to a 2-1 lead here. 2 out. West on second base for the Fredericton Dolan Pub Moosehead Royals. 2-2 count coming up to number 24, Brady Moore, the second baseman for the Fredericton team. And he calls timeout and wants to get set, a little more relaxed. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Ring seems to be moving outside. Here it is. And it's a line drive. It's going to be a gapper all the way to the wall. Bounces around out there. It's going to be at least a double for Moore. And he drives in the tying run. 2-2 game on a very clutch hit by Brady Moore, a gapper all the way to the right center field fence. That rolled all the way to the wall, and Moore went in standing with a stand-up double.
He hit that one on a rope into right center field, Dave. Moore scampers into second. And coming around to score is Brian West, the second run of the game for Fredericton. So we're all tied up at 2 here in the top of the 4th.
Clutch hit by Brady Moore. Now here comes Hicks. He fouls it way up into the netting and out of play.
Well, the Alpines saved themselves a run after the squeeze attempt by the Royals went awry.
So, 2-2 game here in the 4th. And Hicks trying to cash in the go-ahead run for Fredericton. Here's the pitch. Good block by Ring on a ball in the dirt. 1 ball, 1 strike. Hicks trying to cash in the go-ahead run with 2 out here. 1 ball, 1 strike. Steve Hicks is the hitter. Here's the pitch by Martin. Off-speed pitch outside. Nowhere near the plate. 2 balls and 1 strike. On deck is Stacey Gay. Here's the pause and the pitch. High fly ball hit into center field. Where's the ball? Long run. And a great catch by
Tony Wong.
Tony Wong. He had to go a long way. The right fielder and center fielder don't even think moved for the ball. And what a play by Wong. He had to go way out into right center field to get that ball.
Well, Hicks flew out to Brent McClellan, the right fielder, in his first at-bat, and that one certainly wasn't hit as deep, and it was kind of hit into that no-man's land, Dave, between the center fielder and the right fielder, and Wong went a long way out and reached back, and actually hit the turf after making the catch, but a huge play by Tony Wong to end the threat for Fredericton. If that ball drops, Moore would score easily from second base. With 2 out, he was running on the contact. So the bottom third of the Alpines order here in the bottom of the fourth, Crawford, Williams, and McGee.
So we have a 2-2 tie. They couldn't get the tying run on that squeeze play, but Brady Moore with a clutch double. And then another great play by Tony Wong to save another run, and as he had to run way out into right center field to get that fly ball by Hicks. Excuse me. So we'll see what the Alpines can do in the bottom of the fourth as their first baseman, Sean Crawford, will lead off here at number 24.
So Wong gave the Alpines a short-lived lead in the bottom of the fourth with that 2-run single in the bottom of the third, pardon me. And then he makes a nice catch in short right field to save the potential go-ahead run from coming home. So it's 2-2 as we head to the bottom of the fourth.
Here's the pitch by McCarty. Curveball. It's up high, ball 1. Here's the windup and the pitch. Swing by Crawford. Right 1 on the fastball. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Crawford flew out to right in his first at-bat. Kirby Williams on deck.
Here's the pitch. Here's a smash. Hit into left center field. Just going to be a single, I believe. Hustling over his head. No, the ball gets away. Crawford's going to go into second base, and he's in there. Did that get all the way to the wall, Aaron, or was it went under his glove?
I'm not exactly sure what happened way out there in left center field, but it seemed like it should have been a single for Sean Crawford, and something happened out there. Crawford
ends up
put
at
his head
second
down
base.
and heads into second.
So you scored, Aaron. And
Oh, we'll give him a double, sure.
double for Sean Crawford to the wall, left center field. Must have took a dirty hop out there because he looked like he was going over to field it. Then all of a sudden it was rolling to the wall and got by the backup guy who was hustling over there, the left fielder Lockhart. So it is going to be scored a double for
Well,
Sean
he
Crawford.
would have got a single anyhow for sure, so it would still help his batting average. So
But he's in scoring position. That's the key. Here's the pitch. Williams swings and misses on the fastball. So the go-ahead run here. 1 ball, 1 strike to Herbie Williams, who was reached on an error the last time, and a great play by the first baseman, but he threw it away on the pitcher covering. Here's another pitch outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. 2 balls and 1 strike. Fran McHugh giving the signs out to the pitcher McCarty. Here's the 2-1 pitch to Kirby Williams. Here it is. Swing on that curveball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Sharp breaking pitch. Kirby right in there. Here's the pitch by McCarty. He's been pitching good in the clutch. There's a pitch just inside.
Kirby's easy to pick out in a crowd with those red long sleeves hanging down from his uniform.
Full count to 32 now to Kirby Williams. Crawford and fair speed on second base. Gets a pretty good lead. Here's the 3-2 pitch coming up to Williams. And it's outside for ball 4. So Kirby Williams draws a walk with nobody out. And we know what Jay McGee should be doing, Aaron, if the fundamental is on. Nobody out here. Jay McGee with good speed. Looking down for signs from Coach Mike Skid, calling the signals at third base. Curdy looks in. Here's the pitch. Strike. He took the pitch and couldn't get that bat around to bump those runners along. Looking again down for signals from third base coach Mike Skid. Jay McGee, he knows what his job is. Greg Arnold sneaking in from third base. Maybe he'll stay. McCarty might have a play. Crawford with a half-decent lead. Here's the pitch. There it is. Bunt it down to first base. Off the base, and he takes the runner.
Bunt. Got
Rod
the job
Wilson
done.
unassisted, and Jay McGee did his job. Beautiful sacrifice bunt to move both runners into scoring position.
Rod Wilson Jr. scoops that one up and puts the tag on McGee, who probably would have been called out for leaving the base path had Wilson not put the tag on, but That was mission accomplished for McGee, and he sets the table for the top of the order, Mike King, who has been walked in his first 2 appearances. So second and third, 1 out here for the Alpines, threatening to take the lead here in the bottom of the 4th. 2-2 is the score.
King has 2 walks, as indicated by Aaron. Crawford with a half-decent lead. Kirby Williams with good speed at second base. Here's the pitch. Pitch outside. Took a little off that pitch. Steve McCarty did. King digging in, trying to make contact. The infield is up a little bit at short and third, back at second. Here's the pitch. Ball up high, and John Lindsay decides to call time. He wants to go out and talk to Steve McCarty.
Well, certainly King has shown tonight that he is going to be very patient at the plate, having walked his first 2 at-bats, and he's ahead here 2-0 against McCarty.
You said patience is going to be something that the Alpine players have to do, and so far it's paid off tonight. King has 2 walks, and he scored 1 run, I believe. Has he scored more than 1? Just the 1, yeah. Okay, 2 balls, no strike pitch coming up by the right-hander Steve McCarty. Here it is. There's a good pitch in there for strike 1 call. Off-speed pitch, 2 balls and 1 strike. We have 1 out. Crawford and Williams are the runners. Sean Crawford and Kirby Williams on third and second respectively. King looking now to get set there with that. Here's the 2-1 pitch by McCarty. Here it is. There's a high fly ball hit up the second baseman's got a long run. No, he's backing up, makes the play, and Crawford just goes halfway. Gunned in by, so King couldn't come through there. Now it's up to Brent McClellan, popping up. King to Brady Moore at second base. So again, hopefully it's not going to haunt the Alpines and not be able to come up with a key hit. Now with 2 out to see what Brent McClellan can do. He's singled and has a walk.
McGee did his job by sacrificing Crawford and Williams to third and second respectively, and then King does not do his job as he flies out to very shallow right field. So shallow, in fact, that the second baseman, Brady Moore, ventures over to make the catch. So it remains second and third, but now 2 out for Brent McClellan. And we have a visit from Rod Wilson Sr.
Rod Wilson coming out to discuss how they want to pitch McClellan. First base is open, but I don't think they're going to put him on with Kevin Martin. I know he's in a slump, but he's due to break out. So I think they're just going to probably maybe just give him some breaking pitches, try to keep the ball away from McClellan, who's a pretty good contact hitter. Scrappy little right fielder. Number 12, member of the New Brunswick Canada Games summer team. Here's the pitch. Strike. Told him to go and get him, maybe. So he's not going to ease up with McClellan. He has to bear down, apparently. That's what he told him. Go get him. He's going to take the full windup. Here's the pitch. Swing on that curveball. He's ahead with 2 strikes.
And with Martin and Ring on deck and in the hole, respectively, they're both 0 for 2. Rod Wilson Sr. probably thinking that get McClellan here and don't worry about those potential big bats.
Go and get the out with the 2 runners in scoring position. Here's the windup and the pitch to McClellan with 2 runners in scoring position. Here it is. A little nubbed away. Protect the outside part of the plate. Just got a piece of that 2-strike pitch. So McClellan hanging tough now. 2 strikes. The count's in McCarty's favor. He's way ahead of McClellan with 2 strikes. Brent digging up home plate there, trying to get good his foot in good position. Here's the 2-strike pitch coming up. The runners with the lead, Crawford and Williams. Here's the 2-strike pitch. Swing and a ground ball, just foul down the third baseline. That would have been trouble.
That would have been a 4-2 St. John lead is what that would have been.
Just wide of the bag by a foot or so. So McClellan is hanging tough on that fastball. He's not getting around on it, but he has so far made contact to keep alive. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Crawford at third, Williams at second. McClellan has scored one of the 2 St. John runs, as you mentioned.
Here's the pitch to McClellan. 2-2 pitch. Just inside. 1 ball, 2 strikes, curveball way inside, and McClellan had to bail out. Brent McClellan. Pesky little right fielder. Very competitive. Loves to hate to lose, and see what he can do here. Can he hit in the clutch? Here's the pitch. Swing and a little ground ball hit the first base. big hop to steps on the bag. So another clutch pitching performance by Steve McCarty to bail out of trouble after those first two runners getting on, Aaron.
First baseman Rod Wilson Jr. ends up making 2 unassisted putouts in that inning. There's been an official scoring change on that leadoff single to Crawford. There has been an error called, so the Alpines end up with just 1 base hit in the inning and a Fredericton error.
In the 4th inning, no runs on 1 hit and 1 Fredericton error. 2 St. John base runners left on base. The score after 4 complete innings of play, it's a 2-2 tie, St. John and Fredericton.
The ball was bobbled around in the outfield, Kevin. Aaron.
So 6 stranded base runners through 4 innings for St. John, Dave, and it's becoming a familiar refrain throughout this New Brunswick Senior Baseball League Championship Series. The Alpines seeming inability to get that critical hit, and that inning was unfolding very nicely for St. John. The leadoff single to Crawford. He scampers to second as the ball is bobbled in the outfielder by the center fielder Gay. Then Kirby Williams takes a walk. They're sacrificed to second and third by Jay McGee, but then Mike King hits the high fly ball, but not deep enough to score Crawford from third, and then Brent McClellan grounds out to the first baseman. So nothing across for St. John in the 4th, and it remains 2-2 with Stacey Gay leading off here in the top of the 5th for Fredericton. Good ball game, though.
Certainly is. Excellent ball game. And again, as Aaron mentioned, their clutch hitting is not happening so far here tonight, so though the Alpines are still in it, they're tied 2-2 as we go to the top of the 5th inning. Stacey Gay is going to lead off.
Gay is 0 for 1, grounding out to Timmy Moore in his first at-bat.
Here's the windup and the pitch. Curveball outside. Kevin trying to keep ahead of the hitters. Timmy playing in a little bit because Gay's got good speed. Here's the pitch, another ball outside. So Kevin's got to keep ahead of the hitters. A couple of leadoff hitters have gone on because of walks, and they both scored, I believe. Arnold and West.
West scored in the 4th inning after he had been on a base hit. That was when the Royals ran themselves out of a potential big inning.
That's correct.
On that botched bunt.
So it's 2 balls and 1 strike to Stacey Gay. Here's the windup and the pitch. Low. 3-1, and they got the top of the order coming up with Greg Arnold and the Wilson. So this should be a big out here if he can get him out, because here's the 3-1 pitch. Ground ball hit down to Tony Wong. Comes in, guns it over, got him. 4-3 on the play. Wong to Crawford. Gets the leading runner out here.
Which is important.
Batter, I should say.
Slow roller, but Tony Wong is able to retire Stacey Gay 4-3 the putout. So we go to the top of the order. Greg Arnold walked and scored in his first at-bat to lead off the game, and then he grounded out to the first baseman Crawford in the 3rd.
So here's the second batter on this inning, Greg Arnold. Tough hitter. Here's the pitch. Inside, ball 1, down low, around the knees. And ball 1 to Greg Arnold. Alpines hollering instructions and encouragement to Kevin. Here's the pitch. Here's a fly ball hit in the left field. Williams got a long run, coming on, then it's going to drop in for a single. A looping single by Kirby Williams in the short left field. Williams had to come a long ways for that fly ball and couldn't get to it. Hit it off the handle. Now here comes the dangerous Derek Wilson.
So Arnold is aboard with 1 out. Wilson has a base hit and a strikeout on his ledger here through his first 2 at-bats, 1 for 2. Has hit 2 2-run home runs in this series. Pitched a gem here in Game 2, a 6-2 Fredericton win at Memorial Field last Thursday.
So I think you'll see some hit and run on here. Good speed, good contact hitter. Here's the pitch. And it gets away from Ring in the dirt. And it's a pass ball. That ball was down low. Should have been caught. Wasn't in the dirt. So there's a big break for the Alpines on that pass ball by Colin Ring. And Greg Arnold is in scoring position.
Can't just give bases away like that, Dave.
No way.
Now Wilson with a chance to give Fredericton the lead.
There's a pitch to strike.
Wilson wanted that one. That was right down the pipe. He grimaced as he watches that one go by.
1 ball, 1 strike. Arnold in scoring position. Here's the pitch. Strike 2. Another good pitch on the outside part of the plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Kevin trying to bear down. Here's the pitch. Line drive. Caught by Tony Wong and gets there. Runner at second base.
I'm not sure if Tony stepped on the bag or if he actually made the tag. But poor base running by Greg Arnold. That ball right up the middle, and Arnold seemed to get caught a little bit flat-footed, and Tony Wong, who has knocked in both St. John runs with a single in the third, makes a tremendous play there to double off Greg Arnold at second base. And just like that, the Royals are done in the 5th. They get just 1 hit.
What a play by Tony Wong. So that was definitely a tag play, you think, trying to get back. I think you're right, Aaron. From here, it looked like he might have stepped on the bag, but it also, I think you're right, he tagged him because he put the glove up, showing it to umpire Hashi. So a poor base running by Greg Arnold, but that's an advantage to the Alpines to get away out of here with that go-ahead run on. With a dangerous Derek Wilson, so a double play, hits into a double play.
An unassisted double play by Tony Wong, and he's a guy tonight, Dave, that you just kind of get the feeling that he wants to go to Fredericton on Wednesday night. He doesn't want his season to come to an end here on Labor Day, and if he has to do it single-handedly or almost single-handedly, that's what he's going to do. He's got the 2 RBI single in the third, the clutch hit with 2 out to score both St. John runs. He's made a couple of nifty defensive plays, and none better than that one, the unassisted double play to retire Arnold and Wilson in 1 foul swoop. So Tony Wong is just taking the bull by the hands here tonight, and he's just bull by the horns, I should say, and he's just going to try and send this series back to Fredericton.
You're right. So right now, Tony Wong coming up with 2 outstanding defensive players, and as mentioned, driving in the only 2 runs for the Alpines so far.
Tony Wong would probably be the first to tell you it's very difficult to corral a bull when you grab him by the hands.
So here comes Kevin Martin, who's 0 for 2, and he's due to break out and see what he can do here to try to put his team ahead. He struck out and grounded into a fearless choice, Aaron?
He struck out and grounded out.
Grounded out. Okay, here's the pitch. There's a fly ball hit down the left field line, a long run. But the left fielder going over, that could be trouble.
It is trouble.
Fair ball. Looped down the left field line by Kevin Martin, a looping double. Outfielders, of course, are playing way over into right center because he's normally a pull hitter, but he went after that first pitch, a high outside pitch, and looped it. Now, see what Colin Ring can do. He's way overdue. He struck out twice swinging.
Derek Wilson ran as far as he could for that one, Dave, but there was no chance for anyone wearing green in the Fredericton outfield or infield on that one. And Martin trots into second base with a leadoff double.
And Kevin Martin, who has great speed, good speed, I should say, not great. Now see what Colin Ring can do to advance the runner. Here's the pitch. Nub foul on the breaking pitch, down by the dugout. Fielded by Mike Skid. So they got 3 chances now to cash in Martin. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Colin Ring is the hitter. Struck out twice swinging so far, so hopefully he can capitalize on a hit here. Here's the pitch. High inside with a fastball. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Well, this is where you need Colin Ring. He's not that old, but he's a veteran of the senior baseball wars, and this is where he has to think, look, I've struck out my first 2 chances. I've got another opportunity here. I've got to make it count.
Swing and a foul ball. He's in a hole again. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Maybe Colin perhaps trying to overcompensate somewhat. Confidence lagging a little bit.
He's in a hole again. 1 ball, 2 strikes. With the veteran Tony Wong, who drove in the first 2 runs on deck. So they got 3 cracks here to try to go ahead here with that go-ahead run on. Here's the windup and the pitch. Down low. Held off on that breaking pitch. Pretty near tempted to go. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Nobody out. Martin on second. Rings the hitter. 2-2 tie here. St. John threatening here with nobody out. Bottom of the 5th inning. Here's the windup and the pitch. Swing and a miss. He got him for the 3rd time on a breaking pitch. So Ring has struck out 3 times here. So it's up to Tony Wong to see what he can do. He's still got 2 more chances. Got Ring with a sharp breaking pitch. Struck out 3 times tonight.
McCarty has struck out 7 Alpines overall, and Ring, unfortunately, has the hat trick.
And now it's up to Tony Wong to see if he can cash him in. Outside, ball 1.
Timmy Moore waits on deck. Moore is 1 for 2. He has knocked in both, or rather Wong is 1 for 2. He has knocked in both St. John runs.
Here's the pitch. Little low, 2 balls and no strikes, trying to keep it away from Tony. See if he can cash in. Kevin Martin with a leadoff double. Tony Wong, 2 balls, no strikes. Here's the pitch. There's a good breaking pitch in there. Pitch dropped in there right over the plate. 2 balls and 1 strike. Steve McCarty. Here's the pitch. A little looper, could be trouble. Left field got a late start, coming in. Tony's gonna, here comes Martin with a burst of speed. He's gonna score. So Tony Wong has come through again. And the ball gets away, and he's gonna advance to second base. Tony limping, seems to have a little bit of a muscle pull there behind his leg. But Mr. Clutch comes through again with a looping single in the left field. Big hit.
Told you in the previous inning that Tony Wong is going to be the guy to lead this Alpines team here tonight. And indeed he has, defensively and offensively.
Seems to have a little bit of a hamstring pull or something there, favoring his back of his right leg there, but he went on to second on that play. Now here's Timmy Moore. Here's the pitch. Strike, fastball in there.
The Wong play, it's an RBI single. He heads to second on the throwing error to the left fielder Andrew Lockhart.
Here's the pitch. Up high. 1 ball, 1 strike. Didn't go in that pitch. He checked anyway. So hopefully Tony's going to be okay. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Third ball in there. Another sharp breaking pitch. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
So the Alpines regain the lead, 3-2 here in the bottom of the 5th, looking to add to it with Moore at the plate. Wong at second with 1 out.
Here's the 1-2 pitch coming up here. Here it is. Hard smash. Grab. And gonna throw to second for a double play. What a play by Brady Moore. Robbing Moore, and then he turns the double play.
I'm not sure if Tony Wong thought there were 2 outs or what. I mean, he was running as soon as the ball was hit, and he didn't even look back towards second base. He was hobbled somewhat, as you mentioned earlier.
That's right. He must have thought there was 2 outs because he didn't even pause to see if the ball went through. So we have 2 big double plays here on both sides. But the Alpines do go ahead on the clutch hit by Tony Wong to drive in Kevin Martin with a 3-2 lead. But a line drive ball, he couldn't hit it any harder, but Brady Moore was in good position to catch that line drive. And then he just flipped it over to Derek Wilson to catch Tony Wong, who had, like indicated by Aaron, he must have thought there was 2 outs because he was off and running.
He was off and running and didn't even look back when the way that ball was hit. It was hit almost right at Moore, who made a nice play and then just flipped it to Wilson at second. So both halves of the 5th inning end with double plays started by the second baseman. But the Alpines get the go-ahead run. They lead 3-2 here. And the Royals have Wilson Jr., Lindsay, and Lockhart in the top of the 6th.
Okay. Another 3-2 lead here so far.
Wilson is 0 for 2.
Terry's coming.
And the first baseman, number 15, will lead off here for Fredericton. He's the man who can tie this game with 1 swing of the bat.
Rod Wilson leading off for the top of the 6th. Roddy Wilson coming up. Takes ball 1.
And again, as we mentioned, Rod Wilson Jr. always looks at that first pitch. That one was well outside, but he wouldn't have had any intention of swinging had it been right down the heart of the plate.
Here's the pitch. There's a good pitch on the outside part of the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. Rod is due for the long ball. I don't know when he's going to do it, but so far he hasn't hit 1 out in this series. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Outside, 2 balls and 1 strike.
And the Alpines would prefer he hits a few out at Royals Field tomorrow as the Fredericton team practices for Game 5 of this series.
By all means, that would be a lot better than hitting one tonight. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Fouled away. And the ball is going to be down by the dugout and bounces up into the stands. So he's ahead of Rod. 1 ball and 2 strikes. On deck is the dangerous John Lindsay. So you got 2 tough hitters coming up here in the 6th. See what Kevin can do here. Here's the windup and the pitch. The line drive hit into right center field, going over McClellan, makes a dive, and makes the catch. A beautiful catch there by Brent McClellan. On the nice running catch there.
He had to come a long way from right field, Dave, to make that play, and McClellan on his horse got a good read on the ball right off the bat from Wilson Jr., and he just kept charging, lunges, and makes the catch. Critical play by Brent McClellan, retiring Rod Wilson Jr., the leadoff man here in the top of the 6th. So that'll bring Lindsay, the cleanup hitter, to the plate. He's been on base in both at-bats, 1 for 2 with a fielder's choice, a base hit. He knocked in a run, and then he got
Swing and a miss on the fastball. Strike 1.
He got eliminated on that squeeze play that didn't quite work out in the 4th.
So he's ahead of Lindsay with 1 strike, 1 out here, and a great catch by Brent McClellan. To start in the top of the 6th with the first out for the Alpines. Here's the pitch. There's a nice breaking pitch in there for strike 2 call. So Kevin is ahead of the power getter catching here, John Lindsay. Signed way back originally by the Texas Rangers organization as a young junior player. Here's the 2-strike pitch. Up high, a waste pitch. 1 ball and 2 strikes. One ball, 2-strike pitch coming up by right-hander Kevin Martin. Here's the windup and the pitch. Curveball, swung on and miss. Strike. Good pitch by Kevin Martin. So we have 2 out here in the top of the 6th.
You have to have a pretty good feeling in the St. John dugout right now. You're ahead
Andrew
3-2,
Lockhart is
and
now coming up.
You're ahead 3-2, and Wilson and Lindsay leading off the 6th, and they're both quickly retired on a fly ball and a strikeout. Lockhart is 0 for 2. He's struck out both times to the plate.
Here's the pitch. Swing and a foul. Ring decides to go after that ball, and it looks like Kevin wants that one. So we have 2 out here in the top of the 6th. Fredericton batting, Lockhart with number 22. Team hollering instructions. Here's the windup and the pitch. Swing on that sharp breaking pitch. Kevin going with the curveball now. That's his best pitch tonight. Sharp breaking curveball. Here's the 1 ball, 2-strike pitch. Curveball, strike 3 on the inside corner. So, a big inning for Kevin Martin. 1, 2, 3. As we go, here's the summary.
No runs and no hits. 3 up, 3 down for Fredericton. Colin Ring has struck out 3 times for St. John. Andrew Lockhart has that same dubious distinction for Fredericton. So the Alpines take a 3-2 lead to the bottom of the 6th.
Okay. So just changing the scene a little bit, Aaron. How did you make out with your NFL? I see your Miami Dolphins squeezed a victory.
Squeezed.
16-10, a very low-scoring game.
Hey, that's all
where
right.
was the offense?
Well, the offense, they don't need the offense now with Jimmy Johnson's much ballyhooed defense. Dan Marino had the 4th worst performance of his career, but the Dolphins can still win even without the big boy.
What about those Dallas Cowboys?
Dolphins will entertain those, don't call us Houston, Tennessee Oilers next Sunday.
And who does Dave McLean like from the Evening Times Globe or Telegraph Journal there? Huh? Who's his favorite team in the NFL? I see he's in the backgrounds here tonight.
Cowboys look pretty good too in their opening day win, routing Pittsburgh.
Anyway, lots of upsets, or did you make any money on the weekend there?
They seldom make any money. Of course, gambling is illegal in some circles.
Anyway,
We would never condone that sort of behavior.
Right on. And who's going to win tonight? The Green Bay Packers?
Green Bay Packers will open with a lopsided win over Chicago.
Okay, we'll probably be watching that later on. Now here comes Sean Crawford leading off. There's a pitch in there for a strike. He got a single, and there was also he went the second on the boot out there by the center fielder. Here's the pitch. Here's a fly ball hit up the gap into right center field. The center fielder going over. Can't get it. Bounces around, and he's going to go in with a double. So Crawford is hitting the ball well tonight. Excellent shot up the alley by Sean Crawford.
Nice effort by Stacey Gay in center field, but Crawford just blasted that one out there off the wall. Gay with no chance, and it goes as a double for Crawford. A leadoff double here in the sixth, so the Alpines looking to add to their lead.
Good shot by Sean Crawford. Here's the pitch by Williams. Inside. So we'll see if he's going to try to advance Crawford over. Don't know if anything's on or not. They'd like to get another hit here. There's ball 2 to Kirby Williams. Craig Arnold hollering instructions. This would be a big run for the Alpines if they can get it in. Here's the pitch. Up high, ball 3, so it's 3-0 to Kirby Williams. Nobody out here. .30 pitch coming up by the right-hander Steve McCarty. Here's the pitch. Strike, fastball in there. 3 balls and 1 strike.
Williams has been on base his first 2 trips to the plate thanks to an error and a walk.
Here's the 3-1 pitch. Swing on that fastball. Now it's a full count to Kirby Williams. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
McCarty fighting right back after 3 consecutive balls. He gets back-to-back strikes to make the count full.
Here's the 3-2 pitch. High pop up in the infield. Camping under it is Brady Moore. Getting under it, and he puts it away. So Kirby could not advance that runner. Now McGee will be no bunt on this time. Jay will get a chance to hit her away. Number 11, Jay McGee, to see if he can score that big important run out there. Sean Crawford with a leadoff double, still at second base. Jay McGee, here's the pitch. Good pitch on the outside. Strike 1 call.
McGee is 0 for 1. Struck out his first at bat and sacrificed Crawford and Williams ahead in his second trip.
Strike 2, another good fastball on the outside part of the plate, so he's ahead of Jay McGee. 2 strikes.
McCarty coming right after him, Dave, in a big hurry.
He sure is. He's not
Pitch
wasting.
is almost the exact same location.
He's not wasting much time between the pitches. Here it is. He's just inside.
Wanted that one, did Steve McCarty.
Yes, he did. 1 ball, 2 strikes. That pitch really dropped down, but it dropped down after it crossed the plate. So 1 ball, 2 strike pitch coming up. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. McGee goes down swinging, so 2 big outs for the pitcher McCarty as McGee goes down swinging. And now it's up to the
Number 19.
Mike King.
Mike King.
McGee has a glare for Fran McHughes. He heads off. So the top of the order, Mike King, he's been on twice and has scored a run.
Crawford trying to get a half-decent lead, although he's really being pressed by Derek Wilson. There's a swing. He was fooled in that breaking pitch. Way out in front of it. Strike 1 to Mike King.
The youngster King shakes his head in disgust at that.
Here's the pause and the pitch. Beautiful. Curveball in there. Did that ever drop in there? Strike 2 call.
McCarty's had good control of that curveball all night long.
No balls and 2 strikes.
Bending just the way he wants.
Here's the pitch. Up high. A waste pitch. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1 ball and 2 strikes coming up. Crawford with a half-decent lead. Wilson trying to force him back. A little better lead. Here's the pitch. Swing and a ground ball hit. Foul down first base. Fielded by... No, it's out in right field. Way at it. So the count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes to the shortstop, Mike King, with Crawford on with a leadoff double. Trying to get it in. That would be a big run if they could get it in.
Well, you'd have to think, Dave, that if King is able to get a base hit in this situation, that Crawford's going to score. With 2 outs, he'll be running on contact.
I would think so. He's not overly fast, but he'll give it everything he has once he gets gunning. See what King can do now in the 1-2 pitch coming up. Probably be a breaking pitch. Here it is. Up high. 2 balls and 2 strikes with a fastball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Crawford's the runner, Sean Crawford. And the hitter is Mike King. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a hard ground ball hit down to Brady Moore. Bobbles a little bit, comes up gunning, throws it over, and picked out of the dirt. A big scoop there by Rod Wilson Jr. So Crawford was stranded at second.
So the leadoff double amounts to nothing for St. John, so they'll take a 3-2 lead to the top of the 7th. West, Moore, and Hicks. Mentioned earlier, Brady Moore telling me about the problems that you can have, especially from a Fredericton point of view, not used to playing on this field, certainly not used to it like the Alpines are. And that one nearly handcuffed Brady Moore at second, but he was able to retain his composure, and he throws out Mike King to win the inning. So it's 3-2 St. John going to the top of the 7th. Brian West, Brady Moore, and Steve Hicks for the Royals. And I think that there has to be a pretty good feeling on the St. John side of the ball here, Dave. You got rid of Wilson and Lindsay, the trouble spots in the top of the 6th. And now you've got the lower part of the order, although West has a base hit and Brady Moore has an RBI double.
Well, we got the middle of the batting order coming up for Fredericton, so it's going to be interesting to see what takes place. I think the big key is to get that leading batter for the Fredericton Dolan Pub Mooseheads to see what takes place. I don't know if there'll be any pinch hitting coming up. I believe West will definitely bat. Left-handed batters coming up, and the reliable Brady Moore. So I don't anticipate any changes by Rod Wilson Sr., but you never know about Rod.
Interesting to note as well that Mike Skid is actually listed as a substitute in the St.
Ryan
John
West is
lineup
gonna
tonight,
lead off.
Dave. St. John substitutes are Skid, Doucette, Hayward, and Lipscomb. So perhaps if things were to work out that way, Mike Skid might have to put himself into the ball game. But you look at this Fredericton bench: Lint, Lyons, Wright, Woods, Rod Wilson Sr., who is also on there, and Jack Hanley.
There's a hard ground ball hit down to Crawford. Boots the ball, and it gets away from him. A hard ground ball, hard smash. And the leading batter went right after that first pitch, and he's aboard, West.
Always come out
We'll wait for the official on that.
Same on the
Say a
rink
base
up
hit.
up there. Same way.
The second baseman, number
To be
24.
perfectly honest, I didn't even see that, Dave, so I thought I'd opt for base hit to see what kind of reaction I get. Didn't go over well. So an E on that play.
Lyons is running for West, I believe, is it? Or Woods?
Woods, Bob Woods.
Bobby
will come
Woods
in to run.
is running.
Bench hitting for
So the
West.
Royals have the leadoff runner aboard and the potential tying run at first.
So how you go score that there? Did you?
No, I didn't even see it.
So
Sure, it's an error.
Woods. So it is an error charged to Sean Crawford on the one. It was a hard smash, but it was a one hopper. So it's an error charged to Crawford. Bobby Woods. Now we'll see if the bunt is on by Brady Moore. It is.
And it's
And
a
that's gonna
very
be
good
hard.
bunt.
And he's safe. He dragged it by the pitcher. And a beautiful bunt by Brady Moore. Kevin gave it everything he had.
Well, Brady Moore, we mentioned earlier, is a guy who will try to contribute any way he can, and that was a great bunt. We've seen that he can bunt. He sacrificed in his first at-bat. He tried that bunt in his second at-bat, where things didn't work out on the squeeze play with Lindsay at third, and then he drags a bunt or pushes a bunt down the first base line here. That runs up, turns
Steve
into
McCarty's
a
going to
base hit.
and hit for himself. Yeah, in the DH spot. I see that McCarty's going to hit for himself now.
So the moves are being made by Rod Wilson Sr. as McCarty comes in to hit for himself with runners at first and second, nobody out. So the Royals are threatening here. The Alpines continue to lead 3-2, but Fredericton looking to wrap up this provincial championship tonight. They lead the series 3-0.
So Bobby Woods, the pinch runner, is on second. He went in to run for West, who reached in an error by Brian West, reached in an error by Sean Crawford. And then Brady Moore with a beautiful bunt single. Now we know what's on here for sure. He's an outstanding bunter. And he bunts it back to... Got to come up gunning. Got him. And he moves the runners up. So now the runners are in second and third. That was an outstanding bunt. They weren't sure who was going to take it. Ring and Martin looked at each other, but Martin come up and gunned it. McCarty's got great speed, but they got him by a step.
Second and third for Stacey Gay. He's 0 for 2. He'd love to contribute here. Just 1 out for Fredericton. The tying run 90 feet away. The go-ahead run and potential championship run 180 feet away.
So do you play back and let the go for the or an hit would score 2 runs? Looks like the second baseman is playing back a little bit. Stacey Gay.
Even with the bag at the corners.
1 out. Bobby Woods, the runner on second, the pinch runner. Brady Moore with half decent speed at second. Here's the pitch to Stacey Gay. Swing. Tipped straight into the glove of Colin Ring for strike 1. On deck is Greg Arnold. Stacey Gay, it's number 9, and he's hitting. Here's the pitch coming up to Stacey Gay. Here it is. Ooh, just missed. Kevin Martin wanted that pitch. Must have broke inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Got to keep his composure. Looking down for instructions. And looks like there's a mush ball on the field, and center fielder Jay McGee whips it over the fence, back into playing. 1-1 pitch coming up to Jay McGee, Stacey Gay. Here it is. Line drive, caught by King over to second, double play!
It wasn't caught. The ball wasn't caught at shortstop. He trapped that ball, but I think they got the runner at third. Maybe they didn't even do that.
Get out there, Skinner!
Here's the play.
And he made the tag there, and Mike Skid is irate. The ball definitely was not caught by King at short. There was no question that the dirt came up there. And Skid comes flying out, and he says, somebody's got to be out here. And I think the runner at third, Woods, who's running for West, should be out. I'm sure they tagged him, and he's out. So it'll be runners at first and second. That'll be scored a fielder's choice. King lunged. The Alpines thought the game might have been over, but he didn't catch that ball. The correct call was made by Stephen Hashey at second. But then it was a trap, and King kept his wits about him and threw to Moore at third, who tagged out Woods. The Alpines were thinking that that was a double play, but he just tagged out Woods, who was caught leaning off of third base, even though the ball wasn't caught.
Okay, 2 out with Moore still on second. Lots of action here. So it was a tag play. It was no force at second there, right, Aaron?
There was no force at third because it wasn't a line drive. It was the ball hit the ground.
Yeah.
So that turns out to be a huge play, and there's lots of confusion here now. And Kevin Martin is yelling at the Royals, and the Royals, Rod Wilson Jr. is yelling at his father, and they yell back and forth.
A lot of confusion here. Both Wilsons coming out.
And now Andrew Higgins, the first base umpire, has thrown Steve McCarty out of the game. And McCarty comes out as if he was going to charge after the umpire. And Higgins has words from McCarty, who has just been thrown out of the game. So if the Royals manage to score the tying run here in the top of the 7th, they're going to have to go to the bullpen in the bottom of the inning because McCarty has just been heaved by Andrew Higgins. It was just a crazy play, though.
Mass confusion here tonight. So we have 2 out.
And I think perhaps that Lee Hamilton at third was confused, thinking that it was a line drive, and that if there was no tag, that it would just simply be a force play with Woods being caught off third, but they had to make the tag to get him out because it was a live ball where it wasn't caught by King.
Okay, so Greg Arnold, a tough hitter up here. 2 out, here's the pitch. Swing on a miss, strike 1.
So the bottom line that we should put into perspective here, it's the top of the 7th inning.
2 out,
there are
2
2
on.
out, 2 on, and the Alpines lead 3-2.
Right on. Brady Moore with half decent speed on. Stacey Gay's the runner at first. Greg Arnold's the hitter. Here's the pause and the pitch. A little up high. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Of course, all of this started here in the 7th inning after that hard bouncer that handcuffed Sean Crawford at first and put West aboard. He was pinch run for by Woods.
Here's the 1-1 pitch. Fly ball into left field. Kirby Williams going over. Puts it away, and the Alpines are still in it. With a 3-2 victory over the Fredericton Vikings. A big pitching performance by Kevin Martin to pitch out a clutch. An outstanding job, and a big clutch day for Tony Wong, who drove in all 3 runs. So we're going to get some interviews. Aaron's going down for CFPC Sports. Yeah. So a big victory for the Tony Wong. Is limping in there, so hopefully he'll be okay for Wednesday. Looks like a little growing injury there.
6 hitter for Kevin Martin for the win tonight, Dave. And again tonight, the Alpines took advantage of their chances thanks to Tony Wong. And this series is going to a 5th game on Wednesday night, September the 3rd. That'll be a 7:30 start at Royals Field in Fredericton.
Hi, Dave Ring here with a big victory for the St. John Alpines, a 3-2 victory over Fredericton. I have 2 fans here that are all the way from England. They're going to introduce themselves, and they're here to see this game tonight. Give me your name there, sir.
My name's Alex Novell, and this is my son George.
Hello.
George, what do you think of the game of baseball? You're all the way from England here.
It's really exciting.
Yeah.
I liked it, yeah.
You like it?
And a good win as well.
Good win. And Alex, what do you think?
Well, I was not quite sure what was going on most of the time, but what I saw was very exciting. It was a very good win for the Alpines.
Right. Alex, of course, is over here and with his family, and you have your wife here. You want to introduce the rest of your family? They're watching over there, Alex.
Yes, my wife Harriet's here, and George's brother's William, and we're guests of Arthur and Sandra Irving and Sarah Jane, who've been very kind to us and brought us along to the game tonight.
Good. So anyway, it was a big victory for the Alpines. You're cheered for the home team, you know, Colin Ring, who's on the team. I guess he didn't do very well tonight, but he certainly has contributed over the year.
We know your son Colin very well, and he did very well indeed. His team did great.
Okay, I want to thank these fine folks from England and here all the way from England to cheer on the Alpines. Have a nice trip, and we'll be in touch with you again.
Thank you, David. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good. Just Tony Wong, the hero tonight. Tony drove in all 3 runs tonight. Made 2 outstanding plays in the field. Tony, that double play. Tell me about that one, Tony.
Well, I was trying to move in on the pickoff there, David, and unfortunately I couldn't get back into position, so I just held my ground, and the ball was hit right to us, and it was easier than it looked.
Okay, so was it tag play, Tony, or did you step on the bag?
No tag play. I was about 2 steps from the bag, and he had to come back to me, so I figured there's no sense in a foot race with him. He's got to come to me. So,
Tony, the play at third base with Brady Moore on second, and Woods was on second, and what was the? Can you go over that quickly for us?
Yeah, the whole dispute was whether or not Mike made the catch. Steve Hashey made the call, said no, it was a trap. We appealed to Lee to find out if in fact the runner had been tagged. Lee said yes, there was no dispute. He was tagged, he was out.
He was out. So that was a big out. You come through with some big plays. Kevin again come up with a big pitching performance.
Oh yeah, our pitchers have been really sharp, and as well theirs have too. I mean, that's what it's been down to. It's not a case of we're in a major slump by any means. It's just 2 great ball teams playing, really well, and they're getting excellent pitching performances, and it'll shut down good hitting anytime.
Tell me about that leg injury. You seem to be favoring your leg after you went second on the play at home plate there.
100%. I just look funny, Dave. 100%.
Don't go away. Don't. Listen, what's going to happen up there Wednesday?
Oh, we're going to go up and we're going to do exactly what we did tonight. We're going to go with the intention of winning. We're going to make it interesting. We go up there, we steal one. We're back in in business. I don't think we're out of it by any means. Every game that we've played, we've been 1 or 2 runs shy. We just got to get the bats going, and we're facing good pitching. We'll get a break or 2.
So it is a pitching series so far with the low scores there,
In
Tony.
my opinion, there's no doubt. That's exactly what it's been. Just strong pitching on both ends.
Well, Tony, I want to thank you for coming through. The old veteran come through again as usual. Outstanding performance. Tony, on that play, you had to go a long way in right field there.
Yeah, but
where was the right fielder and center fielder?
I'm not sure, Dave. I was chasing the ball. I was hoping somebody would meet me there.
Tony Wong, an outstanding performance for the St. John Alpines, driving in all 3 runs. He's going to get another interview. Here's the hard-throwing right-hander who they handed the ball to. It was do or die, Kevin, tonight, and you come through with a big win.
Yeah, we kept the boys in the game, and I don't think we're even close to being where we should be, but we came through with a big win, and It's important for us to use that as a positive, not as a negative, even though our bats weren't there again. It just, we needed this kind of win, I guess.
Kevin, when are the bats going to break out? Like third, fourth, and fifth? Now, the fifth man, Tony Wong, did come through. You come through with a big hit down the right left field line. But it's just a matter of time when it's not too late to put it all together.
I think the latter part of the season, all of us were hitting very, very well. The 3, 4, 5, whatever it was, and it just didn't happen. Like we did it against Chatham, but I don't know what's going on in the series. I think I'm not going to blame it on anything, but I think the 2-week layoff didn't help. I know that for a fact.
That's what someone said, a 16-day layoff. Sort of, you guys did have some practice, but it's not the same. Kevin, your breaking pitch seemed to be your best pitch tonight.
Yeah, I mean, usually the breaking pitch is something you set up the fastball with. So if it's working, yeah, it's probably my better pitch.
Tony Wong, the veteran, come through with driving in the 3 key runs. You scored the winning run on your double. Then the good feeling plays that Tony made in that double play, and then he had to go way out in the right field to catch a ball. Tony come up big tonight.
Yes, he did. Very, very big game from Tony Wong, and I appreciate it as a pitcher, that's for sure.
So anyway, Kevin, tomorrow, Wednesday, you'll go up there and you have Timmy Moore rested. You can come back with Jay McGee with 3 days rest. I don't know what's on Mike Skid's mind, but how do you take a look at it from here on in? And if it does go 7, will you be ready?
We're not out. Trust me, we're not out of this, and we'll prove it. We'll prove it on Wednesday. We'll have to do it step by step.
One game at a time. Kevin Martin, an outstanding pitching performance. The right-hander come through when it counted. The veteran at the age of 23. Kevin, this is your 6th year on the team?
Fifth
year, and having lots of fun, Kevin.
Yep. Lots of fun.
And do you miss your girlfriend down in the Bahamas?
Dave. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I do.
Okay, Kevin, I just wanted to mention that. Okay. Thank you very much, Kevin. Had an outstanding job here with a 3-2 victory. Him and Tony Wong, co-winners of the All-Star, first pick All-Star by the press today. Thank you very much. Kevin, we'll see you on Fredericton Wednesday. On behalf of Fundy Community Communications, great effort by Don Ferguson and his crew tonight. Want to thank you for being here, and hopefully we'll be back again on September 5th if it keeps going. Don, thank you very much. From Memorial Field, the final score, St. John Alpines 3, the Fredericton Dolan Pub Mooseheads 2. Dave Ring for Fundy Cable.